So whenever you're training your dog, you're training yourself, but objectively you're also making sure your dog stays safe. Now, obedience. I actually hate the word obedience because I've been disobedient my whole life. Somebody tell me something, I'll tell me to kiss my ass. It's that simple. I'm not a nice person. I don't care what nobody thinks of me, and you have no power over me. No one does. My mama would tell you. I literally did an interview with her one time. I said, Mama, what would be your best advice for those people trying to get in my life? She said, tread lightly. Because at any moment, everything could change. That being said, oh man, what should be the first thing Tron does when I say his name? Objectively, he should acknowledge that I'm talking to him. Doesn't mean he should be coming to me. Tron. Because him and I have an understanding when I say his name, especially with a different level of force, I said, Tron, come here. See, he didn't listen. He's like, yeah, he don't mean it. But he's got better hearing than all of us put together. So he's not stupid. So first thing I do is I sit down, and as I said before, terrier type breeds, and Tron's definitely got some mastiff in there somewhere. They're dogs that think for themselves. Therefore, I just like having a conversation. First rule of thumb is, does my dog know his name? Second rule is, how much training should I go through with this dog? And what's his capacity? In the business world, people have what we call a dollar limit. So somebody might say, hey, I want $1 million. You know what type of mind you have to make $1 million, manage $1 million, sustain $1 million, and keep $1 million? See, because it ain't about what you got, it's about what you can keep. It's a lot. So 9 out of 10 people are, they make 50,000, maybe 60, maybe, I'm about to say, I know this do anybody pay, maybe 30,000, and that really is your capacity. But most people don't think that way. And some of the bigger businesses, the guys will tell you, hey, we fired everybody when we got to $900 million because we weren't a baby anymore. We were a $1 billion company, and that takes a different level of thinking. So Tron and all the bullies, as I told you, they're a journey because no one comes shepherd ready. A shepherd, aka sheeps per se, but he needs guidance, instruction, and motivation. And a lot of times he needs a lot of direction. So he's looking for direction. I'll let Ego out. I'll let Tron out. Hell, I'll let the General out. Them dogs probably could survive. And I'm not saying other ones couldn't, but they have prey drive, to say the least. Tron, come here. So we're going to work on some downs here. This right here. When we popped Tron the other day, he doesn't get motivated in any way, shape, and form. We start low. Now, Stan, what's the trick to teaching a dog a down?
Luring into that position. I mean, it's...
But why would the dog do what you ask him to do, even in repetition? And mind you, here's the thing. I like words that mean something to the owner. So I told Stan before, I'm finding ways to change all the words. And even when I'm watching Jamarcus in the last episode do his thing with the dog, there's a look of confusion, there's a look of uncertainty. But my sales pitch to even him, so I told Stan I'm gonna do a version of this, will be, let me find something that means something to you. And Stan told me before, I could literally say cheese and the dog would do it, because dogs don't speak English. What do they speak?
They speak dog. They bark, they growl, and they howl. Like, that's their extent of their vocalization.
Yeah.
So motivating him is a lure, per se. So motivation comes in.
We'll walk us through motivating the owner too, because if I say something like I said, even just using my tone, Tron, come here. He's under the Tron. You see him turn? I know my dad said, Trev, get up. I'm like, heart start beating fast, she anxiety, oh, he's in a mood this morning, bro. He'd be like this. And he goes, quick, yes, quick, yes, sir. He'd be like, Trev, you hungry? I'd be like, oh man, it's gonna be some breakfast. He cooking breakfast, boy. He sound like a different person today, baby. That's what I like to hear. Pressure down, you take your time in the bathroom. You still in there? Yes, sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir, I'll be down in a second. It's a whole different level of energy when that brother toe was up. But when I tell you, I can remember, and he'd hit the door. He hit the wall hard as hell, open the door, hit my wall. I'd be like, God damn. So the anxiety started at a young age. My dad had me so anxious, he'd be in the mid-talk. I said, I gotta go to the bathroom. That's how stressed that joker had me. But when he said something, depending on tone, I knew he meant it. And I speak English. And I understand everything. So, teaching the dog it down, but even finding the words to make sure that the people you're teaching believe in those words. So you say down, somebody might not believe it now. Even I heard you say, tell in front. He didn't put no value on it because, okay, so the dog's in front of you already. We tell him for, you know what I mean? But what are some words even that and we're thinking through this to be clear, people. This is like live action. What are some words that you would almost be like, yo, we gotta think of something else to keep people inspired? Oh, I want to teach my dog that. That's how I'm thinking. Like from a marketing standpoint, I'm thinking, yo, do I want to teach my dog to down? What do I want to, like, why do I want my dog to down? I got to think of a word that's like, I want to teach my dog that.
So down is going to be a more of a controlled position. So if they're going to be anywhere for a long period of time, if they have to stay somewhere, anything like that, they're going to be more likely to do that when they're laying all the way down. Down has just been the word that everybody uses, but with boots, I use relax because it means the same thing because I showed them that specific behavior. So one thing that I like to do is I like to find a common ground with whatever the owner is. So if you're a hockey player, it's going to be, hey, it's like a face-off or whatever. The beginning is going to be that. So you would just try to find
Hey, boy, you done went to some hockey games, huh?
Man, I used to play the video games back in the day. You see me on the skates.
Come on now. I'm over here like, dang, that's not a bad idea, man. Might start doing some cocktail commands.
So you think values and stuff is everything, and that's why I mean I teach dogs a lot of stuff just based on my values. I value a solid protection word, and you know, for me, if I'm like, yo, you hear me say, let's go to work.
See, I like an athletic dog, so all the stuff we did with these puppies have made them athletic, and now they're actually coming out of the pen. It's like, oh, y'all are too athletic for your own good.
Yeah, trust me, I seen a video the other day of a bunch of Dobermans and the fence wasn't, it was just tall, and I said, boy, them can be my dogs, because them jokers been out that fence. I'm gonna tell you that right now, boy.
I heard it. Yeah, so they're actually getting crate trained now because they cannot get out of that crate. So we're killing two birds with one stone.
Miami is amazing. That's a Drake song.
You have to find what motivates the owner, of course. You have to find what motivates the dog. And some dogs don't care about food. You got to use a ball.
But the owner's the motivation.
It should be.
Well, it has to be, because if you're not motivated to sit here and be patient, and you want it to come overnight, or anything for that matter, it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
So value is what you exchange, and that's what we're trying to, walk you through here. And mind you, none of my dogs are perfect people. They're not even highly trained in any way, shape, or form. I like to go on a 2-year journey with them, and part of the first 2 years, it's just letting them be a kid per se. And that means we've got an understanding. He knows how to walk on a leash. He knows not to pull unless he's being motivated. And then you go through that year 3 where you go, and Tron's not even 2 yet. He turns 2 in November. Going into year 3 is when I start talking to him a little bit more about, hey, how we can be better together.
Christmas. In that learning phase, it has to be fun for the dog. It's just like Little League basketball, Little League whatever. It's very simple. Everybody nowadays, everybody wins, but you make it basically fair for everybody, and then as you get older, more mature, get physically stronger, now the rules start coming into play. Now you can't hack anymore. Now you got to dribble right. All of these things, and you get better and better and better as you get older. But if you had to worry about double dribbling and traveling and everything the first time you ever played, you're like, this is boring. I'm not going to do it. So don't expect too much of your dog until they actually know what's expected. So give him 3 to 6 months before you really even start getting frustrated with the dog. And we have to remember that, yes, they live 7 times our lives, but it's still one day at a time. Neil deGrasse Tyson said, for every day we live, it's a week in their mind. So
It's a problem
take your
for 2
time.
people of trying being in a down position without being told, and then someone like me wanting to go and overdo it, right? He knows that we know he can go down, and I ain't say nothing. But he's like, yo, y'all not doing it, let me chill. Sometimes you turn around, even in this, if you're working on patience and reward him in this, like give him some treats in this position, you say, oh, okay, if I stay down here long enough, I get some treats. Now,
and they call that incidental training.
There you go.
Where the dogs know how to do everything we want them to. They know how to walk, they know how to stay, they know how to lay down, they know how to jump, they know how to use their mouth. All we're doing is giving them a time and a place. And if the dog is doing what we want them to do, yes, you can mark that behavior. But training this way takes a long time. And that's like, it takes from 6 months now. That's like a year worth of doing stuff because you have to catch them right in that moment. And then even then, say they are motivated by a squirrel or something, and you say that down command, I'm like, gee, why would I do that? I've never raised that level where you had to do it in that mindset.
Halstead said he changes the environment so the dog can become more accustomed to distractions, to say the least. So this training actually, from a patience and incidental standpoint, it's not conducive to people like myself who are super active, and I'm going to take him everywhere. So the general, I literally walked 2 miles. I didn't put him on a leash one time. People were walking past. I picked him up one time when there was a Dutchess and Hound, because I don't know how motivated he is by dogs, but I knew that I wanted to start with just basic, hey, let me keep him close. So we've got Tron in the down. I'm going to call him and bring him forward. Now Tron's not going to listen to me, to be clear. We're not going to get to the halfway point. But when we think about values, think about what you value, think about being patient, think about being confident, and then think about the breed. All these things matter. Depending on your breed, you might not have a Serena, a Mike Tyson, a Tom Brady. You just might not have those dogs. And then you got to know the dog's capacity too. And if you're a breeder, think, okay, how do I tighten this up? Tighten this up and tighten this up. How do I make the next generation smarter? Because intelligence can be bred, believe me. And just like stupid can. And unfortunately, there's a lot of stupid dogs out there. And that means there's a lot of stupid breeders. Just the truth, people. Don't shoot the messenger. Tron, let's go, man. So first thing, eye level. Why do I sit down in this stool, people? When you are, if ever you've played sports and you've had a father like mine, you say, hey, when he's talking to you, you better stand up. And if he's, depending on how he's feeling, he might swing on you. But he's like, stand up. So I need to get, in my opinion, and just in my experience, eye level with the dog down. Good boy. And remember, we talked about patience too. So when we start doing patience, what that mean? I ain't giving the treat right away, but you see how he reacted to getting the treat? Oh, thank you. Patience is key in this game. Tron's not a dog that makes anyone angry. He's not super motivated, I'm being honest, but he all of a sudden, we brought it out of him. Tron, sit. Down. See? I told you he wasn't going to listen. I'm not going to pop it for nothing, people. This is not something we practice. I think last time I did downs with this dog was probably 6 months ago. And that was at least 3 or 4. So flip your hand over. As I told you before. I'm showing you because objectively I also don't want you guys to be under the impression that we're working to be perfect.
And then slide it back. Oh, that'd be a bum.
Oh, it's okay. Look, I literally want you to see the process here. Tron's not a problem, dog. He's just being lazy. Good boy. He's just being lazy. And I know a lazy dog because I haven't required anything of it. So remind you this. You start winning a couple games. You don't take it that serious. You start winning every game, you get a little bit more serious. Expectations often create challenges even in relationships because some people think they can get over on you. And they know they can. And then there are people who know, don't come to me. I ain't letting nothing slide. And I ain't gonna forget nothing. So the expectations already. We go in here, work has got to get done. So I'm not putting any expectations on the dogs. So then why would I then get frustrated when the dog don't listen? I've literally put no expectations on them. If I call them, they don't come. I'll be like, if I'm telling them down, like that's what it is. But at the same time, now he's down there, he's comfortable, and he's also high. That's the other truth. Guys, I'm gonna repeat this. Take your time, find value. Most importantly, start low, work high. One of the things you saw in the last episode, you should start basically keeping your hand higher and higher and higher. We'll get there with Tron. He's a dog that is getting, over time, he's got more confident. We've done a lot of things with him over the past few weeks that have been like, oh, he's getting better. Oh, he climbed in the tires at one time. You go, oh. All these little things lead to the bigger picture. The bigger picture is just to have a confident, happy, healthy dog. Anything else?
One thing that I would do is I would worry about getting the dogs into the position before I worry about labeling the position. Mm-hmm. Because if we're going down, 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 he starts learning to down, down, down slow versus getting into there fast, getting into there with crispness, that speed, that intensity that we want. And then we can go back and labeling it after the fact. After the dog's doing what they're supposed to do right, then we call it something specific. And that's going to help take that slow response time out of these things.
Now also, people, don't feed your dog and go train it, okay? Tron and them, they gonna eat a big meal today. If a dog ate, why would he want to listen? He's like, my man, imagine you eating a $90 meal. You ain't talking to nobody after that. Hey man, I know, let's go do some work. You be like this. Man, hit me in about 3 or 4 hours, brother. I can't move right now, I'm full. Stay tuned, people. Take care of your dog. Remember to pace yourself. We'll talk some more.